as a content creator, as an influencer, do you guys like that word? I love that word. Do you feel influenced? You should be, because I'm the influencer. So as an influencer, I gotta go on social media and farm those likes. The bukake of likes, as other influencers like to call it. It is part of the job. Like, I gotta go out there so that people know that I exist, so that they check out my channel. It's part of the business. It's what I do. If I don't want people to know that I exist and check out my channel, then I would just talk to the walls. But there we are. Farming engagement, very important. Now, I go on Twitter, and in order to farm engagement, I have to interact with some very unreasonable people. Very, very toxic individuals. And I always get asked, like, V, how do you do it? How do you perform this thing? Those individuals you're interacting with, it's not that I disagree with them, it's that they're insane. They're loco. How do you manage to keep your sanity? And, most of the time, the engagement is genuine, 100%, but sometimes you gotta use some tools. Like in this particular example. One of the top 10 anime betrayals of the year is Kirsche getting banned from the expo. From Afkai Expo. Because she made one volunteer feel uncomfortable, right? Like, one volunteer didn't feel safe, and instead of them being provided with a condom so that they have the safety, they had to remove Kirsche over some tweets that aren't even really that bad. Like in this tweet, she just explains what LGBTQIP2SAA means. And I unironically didn't know, like, I genuinely didn't know, and she provided a valuable service to the public, to the community, by explaining that, well, it actually means lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, questioning, intense, pansexual, two-spirited, asexual, and ally. And I would have no idea, but, like, she did this service to me, and because of that, I am eternally grateful. So I was really upset when I saw that the expo decided to ban her and chose this random person who felt uncomfortable over my beloved Kirsche. And here you have Grooms, a legend in the industry as well. Man was pivotal in creating World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, many other games of my childhood, right? Like, it's all of my heroes getting together here. And he's basically explaining how, look, the woke have no problem in gatekeeping when it comes down to their controlled spaces. In other words, he is referring to a tactic called Entryism. Entryism is something that American students were taught in academia in certain professions like gender studies, colonial studies, usually things that end with studies. And it's all about, like, pretending you're part of the hobby, pretending you're interested, so that once you gain entry and you advance the ranks and you reach into a position of somewhat power, then you can decide who gets promoted, then you can decide who gets fired, then you can impose your will. And the whole purpose of it is not to actually help the hobby or the community or the corporation. The whole purpose of it is to push the ideology that you learned in gender studies. It's called Entryism. Look it up. It's actually got a name. So basically, Grooms is saying, like, the reason that you shouldn't be ashamed when you are defending your hobby from Entryism is because if you don't, then you're going to have other people that will gatekeep you. So he's basically saying, you see an ideological twat that they don't care about the hobby, they aren't interested in the hobby, and all of a sudden he starts talking about Trump, immigration, Palestine, Mexico. It's like, okay, what does this have to do with burgers? Oh, nothing? Oh, I see. Well, if it's got nothing to do with burgers, then why are you talking about? What are you on about? Like, you're a little bit fishy. You're making me feel uncomfortable, right? So we know what happens when someone feels uncomfortable. You should be excluded from the event, right? Like, is this how it works? I don't feel safe around you. I genuinely don't feel safe, because I know that if you get in a position of power, you're going to start banning people. So I don't feel safe. So I responded to Grooms and I said, that is what people don't understand. It's why non-woke people absolutely dislike the woke. It's not about inclusivity. It never was. Woke people are all about co-opting hobbies and then places and only allowing their friends and people who submit to their insane radical ideology to participate while banning anyone that complains. Right? So they claim it's inclusivity as a PR stunt. It's like, oh, well, you like to be inclusive here. And they're like, okay, well, in order to be inclusive, we have to ban all the people that are passionate about the hobby that disagree with me, and I will promote people that may not even care about the hobby but agree with me. right? So that's not inclusivity. It's just like a PR stunt. And you have like this individual that comes up here, and it's like, Lemao, what are you even talking about?
What are we even talking about? Some crack or who fucked up already?
Right, so it's that energy. And the question is like, how do you deal with this individual? Right? Because again, I am a content creator and I have to respond to hundreds of people. Like how do I explain to this individual what we're talking about because they're struggling to understand? Okay, so the solution is to use the tools that God has given us. Is to use the AI in order to help us out of this pickle. Because again, I may not understand how to speak with people that aren't able to follow such a simple conversation, but the AI is designed to talk to some of the more simple-minded of us, you know, so some of the people that are struggling to understand on how to follow a discussion. So you take a picture of the actual conversation, you take a screenshot of it, you put it in the AI, and then you prompt the artificial intelligence with this question. The person below does not seem to be capable of understanding the conversation. Since I am a bit tired, could you summarize it for them as best as possible? So here you have ChatGPT saying, to summarize the conversation in tweets. Number 1, Kirsch's exclusion. Kirsche is thanking supporters after being excluded from the panels at AFCAI due to past tweets that may have been seen as controversial or non-inclusive. Number 2, Grams' perspective. Grams is criticizing the exclusion, suggesting that the woke are gatekeeping control spaces by not allowing voices they disagree with, such as the voice of Kirsche. Number 3, V's comments. V elaborates that the issue is not about inclusivity, but about woke individuals controlling spaces and only allowing those who align with their ideology to participate, thus excluding others regardless of their popularity or benefit to the community. Number 4, response to this individual. They are confused and questioning what the discussion is about. In essence, the discussion revolves around the accusation that woke ideology is being used to control participation in certain communities or events, excluding those with different views. My God, you know, if I had a 5-year-old, I would like ChatGPT to be its kindergarten teacher. I mean, you can't simplify it more than this. And I think like the person understood because they didn't interact with the conversation further. But there were other individuals that were absolutely livid of using this tactic. It's like, oh, you're using AI like an NPC. It's like, yeah, I guess, you know, it's like a tool. I don't know how to speak with individuals that cannot follow such a simple conversation, so I need professional help, I guess. I need to use the science in order to help commune with them, and it seems to be working. So if it's working, why are you upset? Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.